All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today. We are very excited to go over a feature that we have been working on for a couple months now, which is Team Workspaces. And the goal of Team Workspaces was to really redefine our platform around the way that creative teams collaborate. And a lot of thought and effort went into this to understand how can we still make Assemble as frictionless and as enjoyable to use, but enabling some of the team management and security features that many of our customers have been asking for. So first off, Assemble is designed for teams. So naturally, the workspace should be built around the way that teams work. So this is, of course, central to the product. It is a collaboration tool. And we need to start thinking about moving away from the individual account into a more organizational or team account. So a quick agenda of what we're going to go over today. Number one, we're going to walk through all of the new features. With team accounts is coming a number of additional features and bells and whistles that we think are really exciting and are going to help you collaborate at the next level. Second, we're going to talk about the new user types within Assemble and how those work and how we use user types to control access and also the account type. Third, we're going to cover our new updated pricing for team accounts. And fourth, we're going to discuss account changes and how your current account will shift into a team account when this goes live. Finally, at the end, we'll do a Q&A, so feel free to drop any questions in the chat. I'll check those at the end and we can have a Q&A discussion. And then, of course, contact information in case you want to get in touch. So let's go ahead and dive right in, starting with the most exciting part, which is all the new features. So the new Team Workspace, as mentioned, is packed with new features. It is going to make the collaboration experience for not just your team, but also your clients, your external collaborators, your freelancers, much more professional, more sophisticated, and more organized. So I'm going to jump into a live demo here, and we're going to begin to walk through all of the new features included in this product. So this is the new workspace. Looks a lot like your current workspace, but the one big difference you're going to notice is that it's now custom branded with your branding. This is our hypothetical production company, Block Films, and as you can see, we've replaced the Assemble logo with custom branding. Also, if you click here, you can see that you can now have multiple workspaces. This will jump you into a completely different workspace, and these are essentially different organizations. So if you are a member of different organizations, you can segment those and basically have individual workspaces for each of those. But let's go ahead and stay within the Block Films workspace right now and imagine we're collaborating as a team in Block Films. So first of all, let's jump into settings and explore the new settings screen. Beyond your personal settings, you now have workspace settings here. If you click General, this is where you're going to be able to upload your logo, which will appear everywhere for the custom branding, as well as update your workspace name. Additionally, you can add a workspace email. Typically, this would be a block email, and you can choose to enable users with the same email domain to auto-join your workspace. So if that feature is turned on, anybody with that block email will be able to auto-join this workspace. You can, of course, turn it off as well. And then finally, custom branding. So not only do we have custom branding here on the dashboard, but you also have the ability to turn it on in your emails. This means any notification sent from Assemble, from you have been invited to join a project, to new file uploaded, to new comments, any email notification is going to come branded now with your brand and your company name. And then you also get a custom branded login and sign up page, which is really exciting because you could just copy paste this link and you can use it in a number of different places. One option is if you have some sort of login on your website, public facing. Let me go ahead and jump to an incognito window here. I'm going to just paste that link. You could just use that URL and direct people directly to a custom branded login or create account page. So every touch point that your collaborators or your clients go through within the app now is going to be branded with your name, from the login to the dashboard to the emails. So very exciting, I think, for a lot of the creative shops out there. Second is the teammates. And so this is where you manage the actual teammates within your workspace. So you can now invite users on a workspace level. In the past, you could only invite other users on a project level. Now you can invite them to join your workspace as a whole. So just simply type in a username here, click invite. That person has now been added into your workspace. These are paid members of your workspace, and they're going to have access to all the features within your account. And so one of the biggest advantages of this is that you now have ownership over all the projects that are created by anyone on your team. So Block Films is now the owner of the projects. You don't have to worry about who owns what. Anybody that creates it is going to be owned by the Block Films workspace. So if somebody leaves, you need to remove somebody, you don't have to worry about them taking their projects with you. That's all owned by the workspace. You also now have one shared storage account. So everybody shares one big storage account. You don't have to worry about managing individual people's storage. It's all set on a workspace level. And then finally, you now have the ability to turn people from either teammates, which is a general member of your workspace, or you can make them an admin. Admins have a few special capabilities. Number one is that admins are going to be able to see all projects within the workspace, regardless of if they were invited to them or not. So when you're an admin, if you have multiple employees that are starting projects, even if they don't invite you, you will still be able to see those projects, go into those projects and see what's going on, but you won't receive email notifications from them if you're not a member. So it really gives you the option of, is this a project I want to be really involved in? You can join as a member, then you'll receive email notifications, or maybe I just want to watch from afar. At any time, I want to check in on the status of it. Don't be added as a member, and then you could just jump in at any time and check where that project stands. Additionally, admins are the only ones that are able to change the subscription type or manage any of the billing settings, so it just gives you some additional control there. Finally, here under the billing tab, you have your seat and storage management. So now within here, you can manage your plan, you can manage your seats, quickly add or remove seats, as well as your storage. Directly in here, you could just upgrade or downgrade storage at any time. Just gives you really granular control over your billing and what that all looks like. Another benefit of the workspaces is that you now have one single point of payment. So all your team works under one account, and you only get one invoice each month for the company for that workspace. Awesome. So those are the core features around workspaces. Now, there are a couple more bells and whistles that are going to roll out in the very near future. These updates I'm showing you live should be live within the next few days. You'll be notified when they do go live. And then we're going to have a couple more bells and whistles that are going to roll out in the days following that, which I'm going to show you a preview of as well. Some of those features include shared templates. So now when you save a template, many of you are familiar with project templates or document templates, but now will have the choice. You can either save them as my template, as you normally do now, which makes it only visible to you, or you can save it as a workspace template, which would show up here under the Block Films templates. And then any of those teammates within your workspace can all access any of those project or document templates. So it just enables you to have shared templates across the entire organization. Another feature, one of our top most requested features, is project folders on the project level. So here on your all projects screen, we're going to be adding on the side project folders. So down here, as you can see, you'll be able to add any sort of folders you want. You could break these down maybe by client, by department, by stage, anything that you want, and just simply drag and drop projects into these folders, giving you a new degree of control over how that dashboard looks and really enabling you to focus on specific folders at one time. And then finally, we're also launching improved notifications. So when you go into a project, not only are you going to be notified of activity in the top right corner with the bell, but you'll also be notified directly within the phases. So it's going to pop up on your sidebar, kind of just giving you a to-do list, letting you know if there's new activity, new comments, new uploads. And then clicking into that, you will see the notification now on the asset as well. And then even if you go into an asset, on the feedback threads, you're going to be able to see where that activity happened. So it will really just direct you straight to any new activity that you need to know about. Awesome. So that covers most of the new features that are rolling out with the Workspace accounts here in the coming days. But now I want to talk about the new user types. And this is something we really spent a lot of time working on. We understand some of the challenges with our industry, the creative industry. Typical project management software says that if you invite somebody into your project management tool, whether that is somebody internal to your team or somebody external, like a client or a freelancer, typically you have to pay for a seat for that person to join your project. Now, people in the creative industry like us know that many projects within the creative industry work with a lot of external freelancers, a lot of clients. If you're working on dozens of projects at once, you could be working with potentially dozens or even hundreds of external collaborators outside of your organization. And managing paid seats for all of those short-term collaborators, A, is very expensive and can add up very quickly. But more importantly, it's simply a mental burden that I'm sure any of you can relate to that have ever gone through this. Having to try to remember when projects end, to cancel seats. If that client comes back, then you have to restart their subscription, and just having this constant mental burden of managing those seats. We're dealing with a lot of stress already, a lot of creative projects, and we shouldn't be worrying about managing seats. And so our challenge was, how can we make the collaboration experience with external collaborators, such as those clients and freelancers, as frictionless as possible? And we really talked to a lot of our customers, did a lot of interviews, and really looked at a lot of different models for how we can make this work, and landed on what we feel is the best possible outcome for our customers. So we now have two user types. On the left-hand side, we have teammates. Teammates are everything that I just covered in the features that I showed you on the screen share. So teammates are paid users. They exist on the workspace level. You can add them to your workspace as a whole, and they can access all of the features in the workspace. So they have the ability to create projects, set up projects, save templates, anything and everything within your workspace. Now, on a project level, you have the ability to invite unlimited guests, and guests are free users who can do a number of things such as review files, leave feedback, upload assets, and be assigned to tasks. And so this enables you to invite those external collaborators, whether it's a client, maybe it's a freelance editor that needs to come in, maybe the client needs to upload their brand assets, or that editor needs to upload the latest cut. You can collaborate with them within that project for free, and that mental burden of managing their seats is completely gone. You never have to worry about it project to project. These people can come in and out of your projects, and you have to have no concern over the billing. So really a completely frictionless experience. And so I want to walk you through how that works. So let's go ahead and create a new project here in our dashboard. So I'm just going to go new project, start a blank project. Let's say we're doing a VR experience for Meta. I'm going to go here, upload a logo, start new project. I'm just going to add a few arbitrary phases here, and then go ahead and click next. On the invite teammates screen, now you're going to see any of the teammates that already exist in your workspace. So these are those paid members that are your close coworkers, your close collaborators. And now you can just really quickly add them. You don't have to type in their emails. You can just click the add button, they're added to the project, and you can add more if you want to here. Go ahead and click done. Project is all set up now. What you're going to notice is different now is that if you look here in the bottom left, you now have the workspace team, which is automatically designated as Block Films, as your company. It's branded with your logo. And then every project now starts with a guest team by default. This is where you can invite unlimited free users to your projects. You can add as many guest teams as you want. And as you can see within the guest team, we now have some additional settings. We can change color, we can upload logo. So let's say that we're working with Meta here and we want to create an actual Meta team. Just go ahead and upload their logo here. And as you can see, we now have this nice branded experience where it's very clear who is a part of Block Films, who is a part of these guest teams, and you can just begin inviting those guests here for free. Now, this branded experience flows throughout the entire application. So I'm going to jump into this Netflix project here. So imagine we're with Block Films, we're doing a project for Netflix. What you're going to see is that as you go into the project, so we go into phases here, This branding exists everywhere. So right here, you can see I can give Netflix access to this folder, identify who has access. If I'm in the calendar, I can filter here between the block calendar and the Netflix view of the calendar. And then even within the assets themselves, if I'm jumping into an edit, as you can see here, we now have the logos here on the sidebar, so I can clearly understand which team is which and where the feedback is being funneled in. So just a nice branding touch point again that really helps bring that branded experience to the platform for you and your clients. So that covers teammates versus guests. Let's get into the updated pricing. So our goal, once again, was to roll out a pricing model that we felt really worked for the way that our industry works, which is, as described, working with many, many external collaborators. And so here is a preview of our new pricing plans, which will go live shortly. We now have 2 tiers that are live, which is our starter plan and our pro plan. These are basically segmented by features and the amount of storage that you start with. The starter plan is $20 per month per teammate on an annual plan. And the pro plan is $30 per month per teammate on the annual plan as well. Starter starts with 100 gigabytes of storage. Pro starts with 500 gigabytes, and you can add as many additional storage add-ons as you want. The monthly pricing on this is $24 per month and $36 per month. Now, let's go ahead and just break this down to run a little quick calculation. Let's say you run a boutique studio, you have 5 in-house employees, and you want access to all the best features that Assemble has to offer. So you go ahead and select the pro plan. So for 5 employees at the $30 a month on that annual plan, you'd be looking at $150 per month. Now, this is a nice little calculator we're launching with our website as well. Basically allows you to understand the true per user cost. So let's say outside of those 5 teammates that are internal, we are also estimating we're probably going to have 25 additional guest users. With this, you can see a total of 30 users at $150 per month comes out to just $5 per person. So this really just enables you to understand the value of those guests and really get a clear picture of how many users you can actually bring into this product based on what type of plan you select. And just so you know, this is just for hypothetical purposes only. There's never any sort of limit to how many guests you can add. You can add beyond 25, you can add as many as you want, but just a nice little calculator for you to get a clear picture. So let's talk about account changes and how we shift from an individual account into a team account. I'm sure you all have many questions about what is going to happen to your current plan if you're a customer currently. The way this works is you're not going to have to do anything. This is all going to happen behind the scenes and it will be updated seamlessly. If you have a paid subscription currently, first off, a new team workspace is going to be created for you, just like I showed you. You will be assigned as an admin, essentially the owner and creator of that workspace. And then all of your projects, all of your data, everything will be transferred into that new team workspace. Nothing's going to change for you. As soon as you log in, you'll just see the new features at the top, the ability to add the custom branding, and teammate management, all of that. Your plan will also be updated to the new pricing, which I'm going to show you on the next slide exactly what the plan updates will be from your old plan to your new plan. So we'll get to that in a second. Now, if you have coworkers who also have a paid subscription themselves, they will be added to your workspace as a paid teammate, and they will also be assigned as an admin. You can manage this, so you can go in there and decide who's going to be an admin or who's going to be a teammate after that transition has happened. Now, if you have collaborators who do not have a paid subscription, so whether that's coworkers or maybe it's clients or freelancers, they're all going to remain in your projects. You don't have to worry about that at all. They will simply be moved to a new team called guests, or if they are on guest restricted teams already, they will remain on those teams. And so essentially nothing will change for them as either. They'll simply log in, except they will now be identified as guest users within those projects. In terms of the plans, so the majority of our plans on a per user basis are going to decrease in cost, and in some cases you'll even get more storage. The only plan that will technically have an increase is our base plan, but realistically we're kind of just ending this plan because we find that 1 gigabyte is just not enough to really fully experience the product. So our new base plan, as I showed you, is the starter plan at 100 gigabytes. So if you're on that base plan at $19 a month, you'll jump up to the starter plan. You'll go from 1 gigabyte to 100 gigabytes, and your monthly payment would go from $19 to $24 per month. However, if you lock in an annual plan, you can lock in at a $20 per month rate. So essentially only a $1 increase, and you get 100 gigabytes more storage. Everybody else is going to see a price decrease. If you're currently on the 100 gigabyte plan, you're going to go from $29 a month to $24 a month. If you're on the 250 gigabyte plan, you're going to go from $39 a month to $36 per month, and you're going to go from 250 gigs to 500 gigs of storage. If you're on the 500 gigabyte plan, you'll go from $59 all the way down to $36 per month and still have 500 gigabytes. 1 terabyte will go from $99 down to $86 per month and stay at 1 terabyte. If you have a custom plan, we'll be reaching out to you to set you up with these new plans as well. So that wraps it up. At this point, I'll be happy to take any questions if you want to drop those in the chat. But of course, feel free to reach out directly, support@assemble.tv if you want to jump on a call, discuss any of this, and if you have any additional questions.